SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. In SPQR, Mary Beard narrates the unprecedented rise of a civilization that even 2000 years later still shapes many of our most fundamental assumptions about power, citizenship, responsibility, political violence, empire, luxury, and beauty. The Senate and people of Rome examines not just how we think of ancient Rome, but challenges the comfortable historical perspective that have existed for centuries by exploring how the Roman thoughts of themselves, how they challenge the idea of imperial rule, how they respond to terrorism and revolution, and how they invented a new idea of citizenship and nation. Opening the book in 63 BCE with the famous clash between the populist aristocrat Catiline and Cicero, the renowned politicians and orator. The author animates this terrorist conspiracy which was aimed at the very heart of the Republic, demonstrating how this singular event would presage the struggle between democracy and autocracy that would come to define much of the Romans' subsequent history. This book introduces us, though in a wholly different way, to famous and familiar characters Hannibal, Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, Augustus, and Nero, among others, while expanding the historical aperture to include those overlooked in traditional histories, the women, the slaves and ex slaves, conspirators, and those on the losing side of Rome's glorious conquest. The author tells the story of the consul Cicero who tips off a civil war against rival senator Catiline. Catiline is a classic villain attempting a coup to restore his personal fortunes and repay his gambling debts. Catiline, defeated by the righteous senators and people of Rome on the field of battle, the brave Cicero has won, and the greedy Catiline has been defeated. SPQR, the title derives from the acronym of the Latin phrase Senatus Populusque Romanus, meaning the Senate and people of Rome. This book examines 1000 years in the early history of the empire. Was Cicero right in ordering that Catiline and his associates be executed without trial? The author presents a picture of gradual development from a community of warlords to an urban center with complex political institutions which systematically favored the interest of the upper classes yet allowed scope for the votes of the poor to carry weight. Institutions are the dominant concern in author compelling analysis. How the Romans, a people who once lived in a ramshackle collection of wooden huts on a muddy river in the middle of Italy, surrounded by other groups that were at least as prosperous and cultured, created one of the largest empires in the ancient world and among the most enduring empires in all of world history. This book is mostly about what made Rome succeed. In the wake of political turmoil surrounding Julius Caesar's rise to power and eventual assassination in 44 BC, the Romans submitted to an imperial mode of government under Octavian, who defeated Antony and Cleopatra in 31 BC and renamed himself Augustus, the first Roman emperor. The empire held sway for about 500 years in the west and 1400 in the east under the Byzantine emperors. How did the Romans do it? One answer: virtuous, both strength of character and masculinity. A related interpretation popular among scholars a generation ago portrays Rome as an exceptionally belligerent and imperialistic society that rose to power by bullying and massacring its neighbor. The prosperity of Rome depended on loot, tribute, and taxes from conquered tribes and cities, as well as the manual and domestic labor provided by non-Roman slaves. In the 2nd century BC, more than 8,000 new slaves a year, the bounty of overseas conquest, were transported to the peninsula. This is a 600-page book, covers roughly 1,000 years of Roman history, from the myth of its founding in 753 BC by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus. Rome thus took the name of Romulus and soon became a safe haven for exiles and other refugees in order to build up its population. After roughly 200 years of being ruled as a kingdom, Rome became a republic around 509 BC, while the republic was an oligarchy. A small number of wealthy families populated its administrative and elected roles. Its uses of a constitution, a senate, and election make it one of the most influential forms of government on modern democracy. Over time, elected officials were opened up to the common people as opposed to merely the rich. Until 281 BC, the Roman Republic was engaged in numerous armed conflict with its neighbor on the Italian peninsula, including the Gauls and the Etruscans. Eventually, however, Rome subdued all of its enemies on the peninsula, establishing colonies on the once disputed land, which would lay the groundwork for the later expansion of the Roman Empire through much of the Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East.